lifetime opportunities. Take your business to a whole new level. Switch to Shopify. Start your free trial today.
Tommy John keeps you cool all summer long. From underwear to polos, their breathable fabric stops sweat before it happens. When you wear Tommy John, you're comfortable and confident, so you can do everything better. Tommy John's premium innovations ensure the perfect fit with zero distractions, like their lightweight breathable fabrics that keep you 2 to 3 times cooler and dry 4 to 5 times faster than regular cotton. With over 30 million pairs sold and thousands of 5-star reviews, guys everywhere elevate their game with Tommy John. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics, like this fan who raves. I don't know what kind of magic voodoo science they put into the design, but somehow it breathes even on the hottest, sweatiest days. Invest in your comfort worry-free thanks to Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or its free guarantee. Get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/stream. Save 25% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/stream. See site for details.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
And the ESPN app. Coming up on SportsCenter all night. NBA draft coverage continues with round 2.
With the 31st pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select.
Will Cooper Flagg make the Mavericks a legitimate contender in the West?
Dallas has a bunch of names. Many of them have a very, very good history. That doesn't mean they have a very, very good present or future.
WNBA action on the hardwood features a pair of games.
Cunningham out to Hedge, the switch on to Plum, drives into Cunningham, Plum spins, up and under with the scoop shot. So good going left.
Plus, Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers battle the Rockies in a Mile High City.
Now the 2-2. And Ohtani swings, hits a drive, deep right center field, way back to the wall, and has got a home run.
From the worldwide headquarters of ESPN, this is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Judson Richards.
SportsCenter All Night, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 82 full days of NBA draft coverage right here on ESPN Radio. We'll cover all storylines from both day 1 and day 2. Coming up on this edition of SportsCenter All Night. Now, the NFL also levied a heavy suspension on a jobless kicker, all that and more. But we will begin with one of baseball's best rivalries. In St. Louis, the Chicago Cubs' hearty lead in the NL Central has shrunk in recent days. Now, the Brewers and the Cardinals are on the hunt. At the start of play Thursday, the Cubs' lead was now just 2.5 games over the Brewers, 3.5 games over the Cardinals. St. Louis had won 2 of the first 3 in this 4-game series. So a good time for the Cubs to get their best starting pitcher back, and left-hander Shota Imanaga, making his first start since May 4th after dealing with a hamstring injury. Scoreless in the second inning we go.
And the 3-2 to Bush. Swinging a drive to right. This could go. It's got a chance. Gone. Michael Bush. Cubs lead 1-0. A line drive. Fair by maybe 40 feet. It landed about 4 or 5 rows back. And the Cubs take a 1-0 lead here in the second inning.
That's Hall of Famer Pat Hughes on the call for 6-7 The Score. Believe it or not, Michael Busch, B-U-S-C-H, becomes the first Bush with that spelling to ever homer at Busch Stadium. The Cubs also win 3-0. Solid return by Imanaga, who allowed no runs, just 1 hit over 5 innings of work. With more on that, here's ESPN MLB analyst Tim Kurkjian on SportsCenter.
It's enormous for the Cubs. The Cubs lead the division, and they can really swing the bats. But lately, their pitching has had some issues, and getting Imanaga back is absolutely crucial for them. The Cubs had 6 consecutive games just recently, allowing at least 7 runs in each game. But now they've got their ace back. And let's not forget, he was 5th in the Cy Young voting last year as a rookie. He got off to a great start this year, then hurt the hamstring, as you said. But for him to come back and throw 5 scoreless innings, 1 hit, this is the biggest boost the Cubs could get because their pitching needs a little bit of help right now.
By the way, the game ended with benches clearing between the Cubs and the Cardinals. Cooler heads prevailed, but they'll also meet up again at Wrigley in less than a week. Now to Denver, where the Colorado Rockies have promoted the oldest son of team owner Dick Mumford amid one of the worst starts in baseball history. Walker Mumford was named executive vice president of the Rockies on Thursday. Could Walker change the 18-62 Rockies immediately as they hosted the best team in the National League, the Los Angeles Dodgers? Probably not.
Now the 2-2. And Ohtani swings, hits a drive, deep right center field, way back to the wall, and is gone, a home run. Shohei Ohtani, home run number 28. And the show rolls on in Denver. Oh, a mammoth blast. And the Dodgers lead it 3-1.
The call on AM 570 LA Sports. Ohtani's 28th home run, as mentioned, has him 4 back of the leader Cal Raleigh, who has 32 with the Mariners. And not to pick on the Rockies, I'm sure they're trying and all, but when you're bad, well, you lose like this.
And the pitch to Estrada. Swung on, and that's lifted in the air to left center field. Over to get it, Pages. He makes the grab. Throws it all the way back to first base. Stretched by Freeman. Out at first base. A double play ends the game. What a throw by Pages.
That would have potentially brought the tying run to the plate there. Instead, thrown out at first base, tagging up improperly. Dodgers take down the Rockies with a final of 3-1. Well, a shortstop and AL Rookie of the Year favorite, Jacob Wilson, recently went to bat for video games. Did you hear this? Wilson recently said, "Kids are going to love this one. Parents are going to hate me. I'm a big believer in video games. It's fast decision-making strategy. I think that gets me ready for the game because when you're in the box, you have to process a lot." End quote. So there you go. A strong case made for hours and hours of video game playing. A's and the Tigers in Detroit. The Tigers came in tied for the best record in baseball at 50-31, sharing that spot with the Dodgers. Bottom of the 7th we go. Tigers adding on to their lead.
Torres at the plate. He says it's a high fly ball to right, deep, going back. Rooker at the fence, looking up, and it's gone! A home run! That ball just kept carrying to right. Gleyber Torres, 2-run shot, his 8th of the year, and the Tigers have a 5-0 lead.
The call on 97.1 The Ticket. Tigers pounds on the A's 8-0. I'm Judson Richards. You're listening to SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke University.
I feel like I have a chance that not a lot of guys in my position have had. And then just to be around those type of guys every single day, in the gym, just to be able to learn. I want to be a sponge. I want to learn as much as I can. So I'm really excited for that.
You get him with the #1 overall pick. Suddenly, your franchise seems not just on stable ground, but destined for ascension.
It's time for the Progressive NBA Snapshot. No surprise, that's how round 1 began. Round 2 of the NBA Draft kicked off on Thursday night at the Barclays Center in New York. The first name off the board this time, the 31st overall pick, Rasheer Fleming. The Phoenix Suns selected the St. Joseph's forward after agreeing to acquire the pick earlier in the day from the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for the number 36 pick and 2 future second-round picks. Our NBA draft team of Alan Hahn, PJ Carlissimo, Corey Alexander, and Seth Greenberg on ESPN Radio caught up with the Day 2 first pick.
We are joined now by Rasheer Fleming, just drafted 31st by the Phoenix Suns. They were just talking about it. It's 20 hours later, so there's last night. You go through that, but to get picked right away to start the night, how does that feel?
It's a great feeling. Like, I'm at a loss for words. Like, I've always imagined and dreamed of being in this moment, but like to really be here it's extraordinary.
Well, you should enjoy it, and we've already figured out for you that it's an excellent team for you to be with. Yeah. You fit in very well with their needs, and there's a little bit of talent on that team. Yeah. So I think you're going to enjoy playing there.
Yeah, that's a great team. Yeah, I'll have a lot of fun.
Oh, I just want to let everybody know you're wearing a Timberwolves hat, but you're not headed to Minnesota. You know that.
Yeah.
So when we're all talking in code right now, and they're a great team, but
it's a different wardrobe.
Phoenix,
it's a different wardrobe.
We still haven't figured out the hat situation.
We got to get the hat thing right.
And one thing about Canada guys, they're tough and they're competitive.
Yeah.
What are you going to bring to that organization? And when you did you work out for the Suns?
I didn't. I had an interview with them.
What when people say, all right, Rasheer Fleming, this is what he's going to bring to the organization, what is that going to be?
You bring in a top-tier competitor. Like, honestly, I want to win. Like, I hate losing. So you just want to get the ultimate competitor.
We have got to get this hat situation figured out. So Fleming goes first on day 2, 4 picks later. The Philadelphia 76ers selected the SEC Player of the Year out of Auburn in big man Johni Broome, who also joined our ESPN radio crew.
Johni Broome is joining us right now. Congratulations to you. We were just talking about your journey and how you got here. And in the second round, we are seeing that. The seasoned veterans, we call them, of college basketball. Where you are right now, do you feel like I'm ready for the NBA? Like, some guys are young. It might take them a minute. You feel the college experience has allowed you to say, I can step in and make an impact right away?
For sure. I think I'm ready for this game. I think I'm ready for the NBA. Obviously, I have a lot of work to do.
With the 36th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Brooklyn Nets select a dude hero from the University of Arkansas.
Look, I've watched you for the last few years with Coach Pearl and everything. Your game is built for this league because you are a winning player, a competitive dude, and you can play all over the floor. I'm just so happy for you. And forget about where you got drafted or in terms of the number. Opportunity is the most important thing. You're in a great situation. I'm really happy for you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How many teams did you work out for? A bunch of teams? Or did you have a sense of where you were going to go, or not really?
I really didn't. I didn't work out for Philly. I knew they loved me. I talked to them at the Combine, and we had a very good talk. Just how my schedule was. I wasn't able to get out there, but, it's a good group. I think I'm in a good situation when I walk into a very good team that I can help, win and definitely be in the playoffs.
So Johni Broome goes 35th overall. Now, was the second round of this draft thinner than years past? ESPN NBA draft analyst Jonathan Givony on SportsCenter with SVP laid out perhaps why.
It had a massive impact on the pool. This was the weakest second round that I've seen in my 20 years covering the NBA draft. There were 15 to 20 players who could have heard their names called tonight that are going back to college basketball next year. And it's not just Americans. There's a lot of European players who were in my second round all year long and got $2 to $3 million offers to play in the Big 12, the SEC, or the ACC. And they said, sure, I'll take the $3 million over a maybe two-way. So, yeah, But what that means is the 2026 draft is going to be stacked because there are going to be a ton of juniors, rising seniors coming back, and those guys are going to, flood the next year's draft class. We have AJ DeBonza, Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson. It's going to be an awesome group of players.
So that was Givony laying out why the NIL affected the depth of the second round of the 2025 NBA draft. But back to the number 1 overall pick and new Mavs forward Cooper Flagg. Now, few fan bases know what it's like to ride the roller coaster of emotions recently, like Dallas Mavericks fans. From the jaw-dropping trade of Luka Doncic off to the Lakers to the improbable luck of lottery pick number 1 and the consensus best player in the draft. More reaction now on how quickly the Mavs could make a deep playoff run. From ESPN Radio's Unsportsmanlike, heard every weekday beginning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Chris Canty says the Mavericks can be an immediate contender as long as they can do this.
I do think the Mavs, from a talent standpoint, are uniquely positioned to pose some problems for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, the Thunder have good size, but the Thunder aren't a great rebounding team. They are an outstanding defensive team. I think the Dallas Mavs are going to be one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball next season. But the biggest question is whether or not the Dallas Mavericks are going to disqualify themselves before Kyrie Irving comes back next season. But if they're in the postseason and Kyrie Irving is healthy, the Dallas Mavericks can give anybody a scare in the Western Conference, including the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Now, co-host Michelle Smallman says a successful career for Flagg could look like this.
He has to be an NBA champion.
MVP?
I think if he is a very productive piece for a championship team, whether he's the Batman or the Robin, we will view him as a success. Now, he wins one, then the conversation becomes how many more does he need to get in order to live up to expectations. So I know with Cooper Flagg, even if he becomes an NBA champion, maybe even finals MVP, we'll then move the goalpost for him. But I think that's the floor.
Sticking with the Mavs storyline, there have been few general managers that have earned the ire of their fan base more so than Mavs GM Nico Harrison. But with the addition of Cooper Flagg, could Mavs fans be singing a different tune? Here's ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania on Get Up on the Mavs' new front court.
Whatever you want to say about the Luka Doncic trade, Nico Harrison has built arguably the best front line in the NBA. You think about Anthony Davis, now Cooper Flagg, Derek Lively II. They just extended Daniel Gafford on a new 3-year, almost $60 million deal. The biggest key, though, of this season is going to be Kyrie Irving, the return to health that he's going to have. If he was healthy right now, we'd probably be talking about this team with the Thunder competing for a championship 1,000%. But that uncertainty on him, and I'm told the Mavericks are not going to be rushing him back. He personally is hopeful in targeting that January, February period. But that extension that he signed, Greeny, 3 years, 119, what it does is give Dallas the ability to use their taxpayer mid-level exception of just over $5 million. And they're going to use that to go find a stopgap type of point guard, a D'Angelo Russell, Chris Paul, Malcolm Brogdon. Those are the three names I'm told that are in play there potentially that they're going to have interest in. Who's that player going to be? What's the impact?
Our NBA Snapshot brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. Well, more on Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, and that bold trade by the Pelicans coming up later. But up next, could the Fever heat up without the WNBA's best shooter? That's next. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
This weekend on ESPN Radio, it's an AL Central NL Central showdown. The St. Louis Cardinals at the Cleveland Guardians.
Saturday is game day, yeah.
Coverage begins tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern with first pitch at 4:10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Progressive Insurance. More SportsCenter All Night coming up next. Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Here's a question. Have you ever been prescribed a medication? Most likely, yes. Well, what about this question? Did you understand how it worked? The way your medication works in your body shouldn't be a mystery. Learn how Vyvgart, Efgartigimod Alpha FCAB works by visiting Vyvgart.com/MOA. That's VYVGART.com/MOA. Brought to you by argenx.
Harry Douglas here. Picture this. You're staying at a hotel, about to take an important video call, but the Wi-Fi is slower than 1997 dial-up. You struggle with your phone's hotspot as clients complain about your connection. These stressful situations don't have to happen, folks. When you book a room at La Quinta by Wyndham, you get free high-speed Wi-Fi to handle critical emails, join meetings on time, and even unwind with your favorite shows. No more worrying about spotty connections. Enjoy stress-free stays with reliable Wi-Fi. Tonight, La Quinta, tomorrow you shine. Book direct at lq.com.
I'm Kiana, and I leveled up my business with Shopify. Once I figured out that Shopify was a thing, I never turned back. I can create a site with my eyes closed. Shopify thinks ahead of us, and it thinks about the customer more than anything. Every day I'm thinking about some other new business, but Shopify is doing it to me because it's so easy to use. It's like I can't stop. I'm addicted.
Start your free trial at Shopify.com.
Listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Judson Richards.
ESPN Radio presented by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Sports Center all night. Back to the diamond in a moment, but first, 2 games in all last night in the Women's National Basketball Association, otherwise known as the WNBA. Indiana Fever hosting the LA Sparks. Caitlin Clark in 9 games this season, averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. Her biggest issue, staying on the floor. Clark was a scratch due to a groin issue. After not missing a single game last year, Clark had missed 5 games previously this year with a quad injury, so this would be her 6th. She's also just 1 for her last 23 from behind the arc over her last 3 games. Fever hosting the Sparks at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. 4th quarter we go. Tight game. Sparks clinging to a 2-point advantage.
Cunningham out to Hedge. The switch on to Plum. Drives into Cunningham. Plum spins up and under with the scoop shot.
So good going left. It was a good X out by McDonald and Boston to keep their matchups right. Now that's just good one-on-one play by Plum.
The Call and Prime video, Plum had 21 in the game. Now the Fever back within 2.
Plum leans in, handoff Jackson, bank shot skips around, Hamby the rebound, foul it and 1.
Too many foul the shooter possessions and ones here in the 4th quarter.
Sparks would hold on to win 85-75, snapping their 4-game losing skid. Now the late game, the Las Vegas Aces hosting the Washington Mystics. We go to the 4th quarter.
Gray on Dolson. Citron trying to lose Jackie Young. Does momentarily and gets the bucket. Such a heady player is Sonia Citron, the rookie out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, the Mystics get back to 500 on the season with the win. The final score there, 94-83. Mystics guard Sonia Citron joined Prime Video after the game.
Back in May, the Aces came in and they came to D.C. and stole the game in the 4th quarter. They attempted to do it again today, but you guys stood on business. What's to be said about the growth of this team?
Yeah, I think exactly that we're growing, we're getting better. We're taking it 1 game at a time. And I think our composure and just being able to handle the end of the game just speaks to how much better we've gotten.
In your rookie season, you do not shy away from big moments. 21 points on 7 of 13 shooting. Where does that composure come from?
I think I just let the game come to me. I try not to force anything, and my teammates find me in great positions. So I think it's just the game coming to me.
The game coming to you. You got 3 consecutive wins. Dallas on Saturday. What do you take from this game?
Yeah, I think we just played together. We played for each other. We had somebody go down, then we each just stepped up and did a little bit more. So I think if we just continue to play for each other, play hard, I think, we got a good chance.
Judson Richards along with you on this edition of Sports Center All Night on ESPN Radio from the WNBA. We now go back to baseball. Before we get to the Mariners highlights, let's take a moment to appreciate the season that Seattle's catcher is having. ESPN MLB insider Buster Olney laid it all out on SportsCenter.
he's having the greatest season ever by any catcher. Look, there's a great statistic, adjusted OPS, where you can measure players against their peers. And when you look at all-time great catchers in their best season, Mike Piazza, OPS plus of 185. Johnny Bench, 1972, was at 166. Yogi Berra, 142. Well, Cal Raleigh this year is at 198 because of that incredible power and the production that he's demonstrating. And oh, by the way, he's also considered to be one of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball because of his ability to frame pitches and to handle pitchers. He's a great leader. He's having a great year. The greatest season ever for a catcher if he carries it out through the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, Raleigh leading all Major League Baseball with 32 home runs. So the question Thursday was, could the Minnesota Twins keep Raleigh's bat quiet? The short answer is yes.
And a pitch, ground ball, base hit down the third baseline. Here comes Jeffers to score. They're going to hold up Clemens at third base. It's a double RBI. 4-0. Minnesota. Hit high in the air, left center field fairly well. Back goes Rodriguez and gone. An opposite field 2-run homer by Matt Wallner. 10-0 Minnesota.
Heard on the Treasure Island Baseball Network, Cal took an offer. The Twins win big 10-1. Mets hosting the Braves.
Swing and a floater towards short. Over the leap of Allen into center field. This will score two. Soto is in. Alonso right behind him. Jeff McNeil adds a pair. And the Mets score two in the seventh inning to take a 4-0 lead. A hit with men in scoring position and jubilation for Jeff McNeil at first base. Just over the extended glove of the shortstop.
The call on 880 ESPN New York. The Mets go on to win, but the big story may be the Mets' loss. Starting pitcher Griffin Canning left the game with what's feared to be an Achilles tear. The Mets are waiting for more testing to be done before they confirm it. Mets first baseman Pete Alonso spoke with SNY after the game.
You know, the other night, after the loss on Tuesday, Carlos Mendoza said he saw some good things that he thought the team was going to turn, and then you win two straight. What have you seen over these last few days that has gotten the team back on track?
I mean, honestly, our consistency is unparalleled. Our belief in each other is always there. We have talent, and we know we can do it.
Obviously, tonight, tainted a little bit because of the difficult loss of Griffin Canning. Just from a player's perspective, when you see a teammate go down like that, how difficult is it in the moment to switch it back on and go out there and do what you guys did?
And I hope he's okay. I hope he misses the least amount of time as possible. I mean, it's to see a teammate go down like that, it always sucks. But, I mean, we did a great job. Our bullpen did a phenomenal job covering. And, wow, I mean, just hats off to them. They were nasty today.
Now, what do you have to say about that bullpen? 6 1/3, as you mentioned, especially Austin Warren gets called up today and thrust right into it to shut the Braves down like that. What did you see out there?
I mean, he was electric. Nooney was electric. Stanek, Sugar. I mean, the entire pen did an unbelievable job.
So that was Pete Alonso there as the Mets get the win. It's never too early to be building out your lineup for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Kansas City Royals shortstop Bobby Witt Jr. will again participate in the WBC for the U.S. We learned yesterday Witt joins Yankee slugger Aaron Judge and Pirates ace Paul Skeens, who have committed to play for Team USA manager Mark DeRosa. Rays did beat the Royals yesterday 4-0. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
What's up, kiddos? Clinton Yates here. Coming up on Friday, we'll recap the NBA draft and explain why there were less early entrants declaring for the draft. That's Friday on Clinton and Friends at 10 a.m. Eastern on the ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Hi, I'm Dorina, co-founder of OpenPhone. My dad is a business owner, and growing up, he always kept his ringtone super loud, so he'd never miss a customer call. OpenPhone gives your team business phone numbers to call and text, all in one shared workspace, and our AI agent answers 24/7, so you never miss a customer. Over 60,000 businesses use OpenPhone. Get 20% off at openphone.com/radio. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers.
Tommy John keeps you cool all summer long. From underwear to polos, their breathable fabric stops sweat before it happens. When you wear Tommy John, you're comfortable and confident, so you can do everything better. Tommy John's premium innovations ensure the perfect fit with zero distractions, like their lightweight breathable fabrics that keep you 2 to 3 times cooler and dry 4 to 5 times faster than regular cotton. With over 30 million pairs sold and thousands of 5-star reviews, guys everywhere elevate their game with Tommy John. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics, like this fan who raves. I don't know what kind of magic voodoo science they put into the design, but somehow it breathes even on the hottest, sweatiest days. Invest in your comfort worry-free thanks to Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or its free guarantee. Get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/stream. Save 25% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/stream. See site for details.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
You're listening to SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Judson Richards.
ESPN Radio brought to you by Progressive. Coming up, more reaction to what happened on day one of the NBA draft. But first, here's what's on the top of our minds.
Half-hour headlines on SportsCenter all night.
Now, the Fever stumble as Caitlin Clark is out again, this time due to a groin injury. Former Ravens kicker Justin Tucker is suspended 10 games for violating NFL's personal conduct policy. Mets starter Griffin Canning is feared to have torn his Achilles in his outing on Thursday against the Braves. And 13 players out of the SEC was the most of any conference in 2 rounds of the 2025 NBA draft. With more on that draft, here's our ESPN Radio crew, Alan Hahn, PJ Carlissimo, Corey Alexander, and Seth Greenberg.
We have some names that did not get called, guys, to discuss and wrapping up the draft and what we think about it going forward. But a lot of teams did well, and a lot of college programs also. Rutgers, Duke, several of them had really, really big drafts these last couple of nights.
Yeah, it's been terrific. But, I mean, the guys that didn't get drafted now get a chance to select where they want to go for Summer League. Their agents are going to try to find the best situation, the best opportunity. So sometimes it's better not to get drafted when you get to that bottom rung, to see if you can pick a place where maybe you can play yourself into a two-way or a roster spot.
Eric Dixon, I'm looking at the list.
Villanova.
Exactly. Vlad Golden.
Who had a terrific year.
Ryan Nembhard. Some pretty talented players.
Dixon had a monster season.
Yeah.
He led the country in scoring.
Yeah.
And so, but again, to Coach's point, you can almost find a tailor-made spot for you. And all of those guys right now are on the phone.
Yep.
Because they're trying to determine. I mean, we talked with Tom James on the way in. San Antonio starts their Summer League training camp on Sunday.
Yep.
And so guys are signing deals right now, and some even started after they took their last pick, making calls to these prospective free agents and guys who they're going to try to sign for their Summer League team, which would eventually be Exhibit 10 deals or two-ways, as you talked about. So not getting drafted is not the worst thing in the world. It gives you an opportunity to kind of find a tailor-made spot.
And, Corey, as you know, and Seth's there every year broadcasting it, sometimes they start Summer League with one team and they end up with another team. So Summer League is an opportunity to begin. You don't always end up with the same team. Like we're doing the games the second week. It's a different roster. It's an opportunity. That's all you want.
That's all you can ask for.
I'll warm them up for you. You'll get them the last 3 days.
Yeah. Well, I'll get them for the last week. You get the first 3 days.
Guys, thank you. Great job. Also, joining our ESPN radio crew was Duke head coach Jon Scheyer. After 5 players were drafted out of Duke, that's a good couple of days for the Blue Devils head coach.
You know, and for me, it was so surreal, and I think the thing that gets missed, especially in the second round, but the fact that Sion and Tyrese, they're on the roster. These aren't two-ways. Those are few and far between in the second round. And so the fact that, we have 5 guys, not just drafted, but 5 guys on a roster is a huge deal. I'll be honest, I'm not going to sleep that well because as I'm at the draft last night, I'm seeing Cooper walk up there, I'm seeing Con walk up, and come on, I'm like, all right, I don't have them anymore either. And then I got to practice today, and I see the Boozers, I see, Dame Sarr, I see Caleb Foster, I see these guys, Isaiah Evans coming back, and I can sleep better now after working out with these guys.
More from Scheyer on how he was first introduced to freshman phenom Cooper Flagg.
Well, I hate even talking about this because I hate giving Scal any credit at all. But he did text me. I thought he was a little bit crazy when he's telling me if this 14-year-old is made to play at Duke. We're very blessed to get those messages from time to time. And I tried telling Scal we don't recruit 14-year-olds. And then I watched Cooper the next summer, and I said, we do recruit 14-year-olds. So Scal was right. He came through.
Let's stick with the coaches. Georgetown head coach Ed Cooley also joined our NBA draft coverage on ESPN Radio. Cooley says Pelicans got a good one with the 40th pick out of Georgetown. Micah Peavy.
Dog. So when we got Micah didn't have a lot of confidence, and again, I thought the coaches at TCU, coaches at Texas did a great job for what they did for him. I saw somebody who could handle the ball, who can shoot, just needed confidence. And I think anytime you can instill confidence in young men and tell them they're better than they think they are, and he actually has the humility to do it, he went from 28% to 40%, from 9 points to 18 points. Dog. D-A-W. G. Not W-W.
Now, one of the more recognizable names in round 2, Auburn big man Johni Broome, who went 35th overall to the Philadelphia 76ers, while ESPN NBA analyst Corey Alexander is a big fan of this move.
He was the NCAA's active leader in block shots, and it was by far. I mean, he may have had like a 200 block gap on everyone else. So it's not just what he does offensively, but what he does defensively as well. Bruce Pearl was able to play him at the 4 this year. He could get out, switch ball screens to an extent.
When Dylan was on the floor.
When Dylan Cardwell's on the floor, those two guys together. But you think about the Philadelphia 76ers organization, they don't often have Joel Embiid. So you've got a 5 who can also space the floor, can shoot it, but you can play through him in the post. He's a very good passer. I think this is a perfect fit for the Sixers.
I'm Judson Richards. Thanks for joining us. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Arius Ace Bailey from Rutgers University.
This was not one of his preferred destinations, Utah.
Now, Rutgers star Ace Bailey went number 5 overall to the Utah Jazz. Bailey didn't work out for any team since saying at one point he hoped to be drafted by the Wizards, the Pelicans, or the Nets. Jazz president Danny Ainge wasn't bothered by any of that and selected him anyways. ESPN senior NBA writer Brian Windhorst on SportsCenter with SVP gave us the latest.
He very clearly was trying to guide himself to certain places in the draft, and he very clearly didn't have Utah on that list. Now, Jonathan Givony reported earlier that at least one of the teams in the top 5 was told, and maybe more than one, but we know at least one was told, if you draft my client, he is not going to report. Okay, he did not go to Utah today. Walter Clayton, their other first-round draft pick, did go to Utah today. Now, the Jazz have said that's not an issue. They allow their new players to go home. But he will be expected to be there on Monday when their summer league training camp begins. So let's see. But one thing I will tell you with confidence, Danny Ainge and his son Austin are not going to bend here. They are not going to get pushed around. They do not care with what this situation might bring. So the idea that they are going to pressure the Jazz into something, I don't think will be successful for Ace Bailey and his operation. But let's see how the next 72 hours plays out.
So we wait. We wait until Monday. Until then, let's discuss. Chris Canty, co-host of ESPN Radio's Unsportsmanlike, had some thoughts about Bailey's attempt to navigate the draft for a spot he wanted to go.
I think the Ace Bailey camp was half pregnant. If you're going to manipulate the draft, manipulate the draft. I'm not suggesting I want players to do that. Yeah. But if you wanted to end up in Brooklyn, New Orleans, or Washington, you got to do something more drastic. And I'm not suggesting an 18, 19-year-old young man should be doing that. My belief is you are unbelievably fortunate with your hard work that it paid off, that one of 30 teams are going to draft you. And not only one of 30, one of the top 5, which means you're going to have close to set-for-life money. I don't want to see players make a mess. But if you want to get to the place you're going to get to, you got to make a mess. This was the worst manipulation of the draft that we've ever seen.
We were checking to make sure you were paying attention. That was Evan Cohen, not Chris Canty. Well, 880 ESPN New York's Alan Hahn on ESPN Radio's Clinton and Friends says future NBA players should have some say in where they land.
I am anti-draft. I hate the fact that you can suck and get a really good young player and ruin him too. There's more stories of that than I've ever seen when it comes to talent that comes into a sport. It's mostly in the NBA, although, I mean, Kevin, how many quarterbacks have we seen go to the NFL that had promise and got ruined by going to the wrong place?
Exactly.
We got one in this city in New York.
I always say, as a quarterback, geography is destiny.
Thank you. It's so true. But it's so true. Think about it. It's so when a player is like, you know what? I don't want to go there. I don't want to play for that franchise. They don't develop well. Maybe it's not a great city for me. Whatever it is, I don't have a problem when a player does that, especially a young player.
ESPN NBA analyst Bob Myers on SportsCenter, looking at not from the player standpoint, from the team standpoint, really liked the pick by the Jazz.
I like the fact that Utah identified the guy they wanted, and they didn't let any of the noise distract him. And in a year or 2 or 3, nobody's going to care whether Ace Bailey wanted to go there or whether he worked out there. It's going to be a question of can he play. And I do believe Danny Ainge, Austin Ainge have been doing this a long time. They know what they're looking for. Danny's himself had some great selections in the draft. And the best part about this pick is he's going to play. A lot of times guys get drafted high and they don't have a pathway to playing, and that is not the case here. No impediments for him. It's a really stable organization. It's a simple life in Salt Lake. I don't say that in a derogatory way. He can just focus on basketball. It's easy to get to and from the facility. He's going to have great community support. So I really like it, and Will Hardy especially, great young coach for this young man.
Now, Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith on the Pat McAfee show says his organization has got one job to do.
You know, all I saw was a kid who was humble, he was grateful, he was excited to be in the NBA, and I think that's all you can ask for from our standpoint. I mean, naturally, probably doesn't have a lot of experience out west here with Utah. That's our job, to go make him love it. I'm confident in our state. I know that, you know, he'll feel love like he's never felt before. People are fired up to have him, and the reality is there's nothing that Ace and others can't accomplish here.
Now, besides Ace Bailey, one of the other heavily discussed moves of the 2025 NBA draft was the move made by New Orleans Pelicans and their new front office, led by Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, after they traded an unprotected 2026 first-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks in order to move up from the number 23 spot and select Maryland's Derek Queen at pick number 13. ESPN NBA front office insider Bobby Marks joined ESPN Radio's Unsportsmanlike and explained the Pelicans' big gamble.
I applaud New Orleans' aggressiveness. Basically last in points allowed in the paint, rebounding, you name it, and they go out and get Derek Queen. But, man, the cost to do it when you moved up from 23 to 13, and the pick that they sent Atlanta could be either the Milwaukee first in 2026 or the Pelicans first. And next year's draft that is better than this year's draft. And New Orleans is in the Western Conference. We don't know what will happen in Milwaukee. That is a huge, huge risk to do that.
ESPN NBA analyst Bob Myers on SportsCenter says those around the league were surprised by the trade.
Internal people were very surprised at the risk tolerance that the Pelicans they actually, to trade this pick that could end up being number one in a very good draft next year, to move up for a guy that we have to assume they really like. And I'm not saying whether Derek Queen, this isn't an indictment of him at all. He could be fantastic. The hope is that he is if you work for the Pelicans. But to take the risk that they took to move up and give that pick that's the better of Milwaukee or their own pick. So that pick has tremendous upside as far as value around the league. A lot of people look at that pick and say, wow, that's a highly valuable pick that Atlanta holds now. But I wonder if they could have protected that to 5 or 6. I'm not going to get in their business. I've done things as a GM that maybe wasn't received as well, so you never really know. But at the same time, that pick, the whole league's going to be watching where that pick ends up next year.
You're listening to SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio. Let's turn our attention now to the NFL. The league is suspending former Ravens kicker Justin Tucker for the first 10 weeks of the upcoming season for violating the league's personal conduct policy. With more on that, here's ESPN senior NFL insider Adam Schefter on NFL Live.
The NFL has suspended Justin Tucker 10 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Tucker is free to sign with other teams. He can go to training camp, but he will be suspended for the first 10 weeks. He issued a statement through his representative, Rob Roach, in which he said basically he disagreed with the NFL's assessment of the situation. Everybody knows what Justin Tucker was allegedly involved in during the offseason, contact with masseuses, asking certain favors. But in this particular case, he insists that he's done nothing wrong. He stands by his statement of innocence. The league went so far as to suspend him for the 10 weeks of the season. But Justin Tucker also said he's prepared to accept the league's punishment and move forward from this point on.
Now we turn our attention to on the field.
Dallas has acquired receiver George Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round draft pick from the Steelers for a 2026 third-rounder and 2027 fifth-rounder.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. This is a real roll of the dice if you're trying to preach one thing as a first-year coach.
Well, between CeeDee Lamb and the addition of George Pickens with Dak Prescott under center, can the Cowboys become a top 10 offense? On SportsCenter, ESPN NFL analyst Mina Kimes shared her thoughts.
If the offensive line, which is very young, continues to improve, if Pickens and Lamb are as dynamic and explosive as we think that they can be, this should be a top 10 offense. Over the last 3 years, George Pickens is third in the NFL in catches on throws over 20 yards. CeeDee Lamb was fifth, and that's, of course, with some backups playing quarterback. The idea of defense is having to account for both of those players, and a quarterback throwing to them who is aggressive and accurate in Dak Prescott is terrifying. All that said, though, I don't view them as one of the top teams in the NFC. I think of them as a wild card team. And for me, that really comes down to what's been an issue for them for a few years now, and that's run defense. I look at this group and I don't see much improvement there. I am optimistic about Matt Eberflus. I think the pass rush will return to form. But when you look at the teams in the NFL that are so good at running the ball, like Detroit and Philadelphia in their own conference, I do question whether Dallas can stop them. I think it depends on how he plays in that playoff game, to be honest. How he plays over the regular season, of course, matters as well. But we're only a couple of years removed from Dak Prescott looking like one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the entire NFL in the regular season and then having a disappointing playoff performance. I think it matters. There's a world, by the way, in which Dak Prescott is great in the playoffs and they lose for the reasons I described earlier. It comes down to the run defense and matchups. If that happens, they would be absolutely foolish to consider moving on from him. And I honestly suspect that they will not, because when you look around the NFL, it's hard for me to identify quarterbacks who would be realistically available to them who are anywhere close to Dak Prescott. But I do think his performance in the postseason matters, and it could affect their decision-making moving forward.
That was Mina Kimes on the chances that Jerry Jones moves on from Dak if the Cowboys do not have any playoff success. The Cowboys' first training camp practice begins July 22nd. Up next, our top sounds and an update on the top vote getters for the Midsummer Classic. That's next. This is ESPN Radio.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN Radio.
Up with it into second, one on to first, and it's a double play. The Tigers do it again.
The Minnesota Twins face the American League leading Detroit Tigers. Coverage of Sunday Night Baseball begins at 6 Eastern with first pitch at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. More Sports Center all night. Coming up next.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
Running a business, I've learned that every missed call is a missed opportunity. Before OpenPhone, it was chaos. Missed messages, no follow-ups, no visibility. Now our team calls and texts from a shared number, tracks every conversation, and AI handles calls after hours. Over 60,000 businesses use OpenPhone, and now I get why. Plans start at just $15 a month. Get 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/radio. openphone.com/radio. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers.
Tommy John keeps you cool all summer long. From underwear to polos, their breathable fabric stops sweat before it happens. When you wear Tommy John, you're comfortable and confident, so you can do everything better. Tommy John's premium innovations ensure the perfect fit with zero distractions, like their lightweight breathable fabrics that keep you 2 to 3 times cooler and dry 4 to 5 times faster than regular cotton. With over 30 million pairs sold and thousands of 5-star reviews, guys everywhere elevate their game with Tommy John. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics, like this fan who raves. I don't know what kind of magic voodoo science they put into the design, but somehow it breathes even on the hottest, sweatiest days. Invest in your comfort worry-free thanks to Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or its free guarantee. Get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/stream. Save 25% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/stream. See site for details.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Here's a question. Have you ever been prescribed a medication? Most likely, yes. Well, what about this question? Did you understand how it worked? The way your medication works in your body shouldn't be a mystery. Learn how Vyvgart, Efgartigimod Alpha FCAB works by visiting Vyvgart.com/MOA. That's VYVGART.com/MOA. Brought to you by Argenix.
Listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Judson Richards.
ESPN Radio brought to you by Progressive. We'll get to top sounds in just a moment, but first, the MLB All-Star Game. If I asked you which 2 players were the first to already be penciled into the lineup, you could probably guess who. Dodgers Shohei Ohtani and the Yankees slugger Aaron Judge were the first players picked for the July 15th All-Star Game, elected as starters by fan votes. Judge led the major leagues with over 4 million votes in the first round of fan balloting. Ohtani topped the National League and was second in the big leagues with just under 4 million votes, becoming the first designated hitter to start in 5 straight All-Star games. You may hear one of those names in just a moment. Time now for Top Sounds, brought to you by John Ryder.
Sports Center all night.
Oh, my goodness. Check it out on Sports Center tonight.
Today's Top Sound.
How good is that? Are you ready to take?
Number 4.
Thanks, Judson. The Rays getting great pitching and power as well in Kansas City. The call on 620 WDAE.
So the swing and another deep drive to left by Caminero. Looking up at the wall, and this one is gone. Home run, Caminero. Back to back for the Rays, and they're pulling away. It's 4-0.
Number 3.
The Twins are up for 8 runs in the 6th inning in a rout of the Mariners. The call on the Treasure Island Baseball Network.
Hit high in the air, left center field fairly well. Back goes Rodriguez and gone. An opposite field 2-run homer by Matt Wallner. 10-0 Minnesota.
Number 2.
There were 5 shutouts in baseball. The Tigers get stellar pitching against the A's and some power from a veteran. A 97 won the ticket.
Torres at the plate. It's a high fly ball to right, deep, going back. Rooker at the fence, looking up, and it's gone! A home run! That ball just kept carrying to right. Gleyber Torres, 2-run shot, his 8th of the year. The Tigers have a 5-0 lead.
Number 1.
And Shohei doing damage for the Dodgers in a win at Denver over the Rockies on AM 570 LA Sports.
Now the 2-2. And Ohtani swings, hits a drive, deep right center field, way back to the wall, and is gone! A home run! Shohei Ohtani, home run number 28. And the show rolls on in Denver. Oh, a mammoth blast. And the Dodgers lead it 3-1.
John, thank you. Nice job by you. Before we get back to the highlights in baseball, we did want to tell you that Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco was found guilty of sexual abuse of a minor in the Dominican Republic and received a suspended 2-year prison sentence on Thursday. Franco, who is on Major League Baseball's restricted list for failure to report to the team, is likely to have difficulty receiving a work visa in the United States because of the conviction. Now we return to the highlights. 2 teams up over 500, the Blue Jays and the Guardians in Cleveland, scoreless in the 3rd.
Pitch number 8 of the at-bat. Swing and a liner down in right field, a base hit. In to score, Clase. Heineman gets the wave. He'll come in to score. Around to 3rd goes Miles Straw, and the Blue Jays lead 2-0 on a Nathan Lucas 2-run single in the 3rd.
Highlight courtesy of Sportsnet 590, The Fan. No long balls needed. The Jays blanked the Guardians 6-0. How about Oracle Park? We go in the Bay Area. Giants hosting the Marlins. Miami pouring it on in the 8th.
First pitch to Augustine Ramirez. That was a good ball, and he lines it into center field for a base hit. Sanchez around 3rd. He's heading home. Otto follows going 1st to 3rd, and that's an RBI knock for Augustine Ramirez. And this is where the boos start to come in from the crowd here in San Francisco. Augustine with a shot up the middle, and Ramirez now a 3 RBI, 3 hit day. It's 12-5 Marlins.
They got plenty of knocks there. The call on 940 wins. Marlins take down the Giants 12-5. First place Astros and the Phillies in Houston.
2-2. And Smith lines it over the leap of the shortstop Turner in the left. Around 3rd Paredes, and he will score without a throw. Cam Smith pumped up at first base. Astros lead it 2-1.
He has come up with some big hits here at Daikin Park and does it again right there to give the Astros a lead here in the 8th inning.
The call on KBME 790 AM. Stros win 2-1. Now the big story, Astros starter Hunter Brown lowered his league best ERA to 1.74 over 7 shutout innings with 9 strikeouts. He did not allow a runner to reach second base. You've been listening to SportsCenter all night. That will do it for us. For our producer, Javon Cutler, our technical director, Justin Osterwick, I'm Judson Richards. Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty Michelle is next. This is ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty, coming up Friday. I'll tell you the most underrated quarterback-coach combination in the NFL and why it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that.
Ask your phone, group chat, smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
Evan Cohen here. When you're on a business trip, you know what goes completely off the rails? Your workout routine, especially when you book a hotel that doesn't have a gym. Then you have to squeeze in between the desk and your bed, eke out 2 push-ups, and call it a day. If you just stay at La Quinta by Wyndham, you'll discover their fully equipped fitness center at every location. Now you can wake up and do some weightlifting to prepare you to carry your team on your back all day. Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow you shine. Book direct at LQ.com.
Fridays, I help you get ready for the weekend. The biggest stories of the week, as only First Take can present them. We start at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Exclusively on ESPN Plus, UFC 317, Saturday. It's International Fight Week, live from Las Vegas, headlined by 2 title fights. The lightweight championship is on the line as Ilia Topuria takes on Charles Oliveira, and reigning flyweight champion Alexandre Pantoja defends his title against Kai Kara France. UFC 317, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV.
This weekend on ESPN Radio. It's an AL Central NL Central showdown.
Arenado throws to first in time. What a play.
Nolan Arenado leads the St. Louis Cardinals into Cleveland to face Jose Ramirez and the Guardians. The Cardinals at the Guardians. Saturday is game day, yeah. Coverage begins tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern with first pitch at 4:10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Progressive Insurance. This is Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Arius Ace Bailey from Rutgers University.
The little kid in me smiling hard right now because I know the hard work, the sacrifices, the blood, the sweat, the tears, not just from me, but my family put into this. So I'm just blessed to be here.
This was not one of his preferred destinations, Utah. He was hoping to get to either Washington, New Orleans, or Brooklyn. The Utah Jazz selected Ace Bailey knowing that.
Okay, welcome to the show. We are Unsportsmanlike here on ESPN Radio. ESPN2, we are presented by Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more at Progressive.com. Some of the highlights from the NBA Draft, you heard it here on ESPN Radio. Night 1, of course, Ace Bailey, a major conversation with the Utah Jazz. Night 2 last night, the Suns move up to number 31 to get Rasheer Fleming, a wing out of St. Joe's. Janai Broom, a big-time player out of Auburn, an All-American, goes to Philadelphia 76ers at 35.
Love that move.
I do too.
So
I do too, as much as I hate to admit that. And the entire Duke starting 5 was drafted over the first the two rounds of the draft. But the story...
Hold on, pause right there. You said the entire Duke starting 5 got drafted this year? The entire starting 5 for Duke might get drafted next year, too.
Yes. 2 years in a row, there's a chance you have an entire starting 5 for one school drafted, and maybe no title, which is amazing. But the storyline
That's a really good point.
does go back to what's happening night 1 and the fallout. Along with Michelle Smallman, Chris Canty, Evan Cohen. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So let me ask you this question. Going back to the Duke thing, does that mean Jon Scheyer is good at his job or bad at his job?
Well, it's like the Coach Cal question, right? You can get all this NBA talent, but you're not hanging as many banners as we expect you to.
Well, Cal does have a banner, though.
He does, yes.
Yeah, long time ago, but yes.
But that was always the knock on him from Kentucky fans is, look at all this NBA talent you have. Why aren't we winning more championships?
Age-old question with guys like Calipari, and I remember doing it with Urban Meyer when I was in Florida at the University of Florida. Well, when he was at the University of Florida. What is the job of a college coach? Is it to win as many games as possible or make as many millionaires as possible? And I know the answer is yes, but that's what you're talking about with Shia, right?
Here's the thing. If you're trying to win as many games as possible, having talent that can go to the NBA is a good thing. And if you're making guys a lot of money in the NBA, then that's a great billboard for you in terms of recruiting guys to come to your college program, right? Coach Cal has, $6 billion in NBA contracts under his belt? Think about that.
That's crazy.
I mean, just imagine what that's doing for the GDP. Coach Cal is amazing in terms of getting guys paid.
Yeah.
And John Shire seems like he's following along that same path.
And not only to get guys paid, but when you're recruiting guys, you say, look at our alumni base that's in the league that you can use as a resource. These are connections that you're going to have as you attempt to position yourself to get to the next level, and that's enticing as well.
So, no doubt. And the fallout, though, now still is around Ace Bailey, the stud forward out of Rutgers who goes to the Utah Jazz. And Brian Windhorst, senior NBA writer, Hoop Collective podcast with Bontemps and McMahon, had this to say last night about the latest with Ace Bailey and the Jazz on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt.
He very clearly was trying to guide himself to certain places in the draft, and he very clearly didn't have Utah on that list. Now, Jonathan Givony reported earlier that at least one of the teams in the top 5 was told, and maybe more than one, but we know at least one was told, if you draft my client, he is not going to report. Okay, he did not go to Utah today. Walter Clayton, their other first-round draft pick, did go to Utah today. Now, the Jazz have said that's not an issue. They allow their new players to go home. But he will be expected to be there on Monday when their summer league training camp begins. So, let's see. But one thing I will tell you with confidence. Danny Ainge and his son Austin are not going to bend here. They are not going to get pushed around. They do not care with what the situation might bring. So the idea that they are going to pressure the Jazz into something I don't think will be successful for Ace Bailey and his operation. But let's see how the next 72 hours plays out.
As usual, Windy with great detail and great storytelling. I want to focus in, guys, on the Jonathan Givony part, our draft expert and analyst, that he brought up. That he told, according to the report, is that he told one of the teams in the top 5, do not draft me. We are unaware of who that team is.
Right.
Thus, we are not sure it's definitely not Utah.
It's in play.
So is there a chance this is not over? I will continue to ask that question. Like, what do we need to see to make us believe Ace Bailey is going to be playing for the Utah Jazz and this whole thing is going to be clean?
I don't know. I can't say with any degree of certainty that it is over, which is fascinating in and of itself. But when it comes to trying to get your pro career off to the best of starts, Ace Bailey is doing himself no favors.
You would have wanted him there yesterday.
Well, yeah, I would have wanted him there yesterday. Regardless of how you feel about the team that drafted you, they own your rights. And beyond that, the optics of the situation are just terrible because now you are in the spotlight and there is going to be an inordinate amount of pressure on you. Even though you're a top 5 pick and it comes with the spotlight in and of itself, there's going to be so much more pressure on you based on how you handled the pre-draft process and based on all of the rumblings that we're hearing after the Utah Jazz selected you with the 5th overall pick. Think about all the smoke that Eli Manning got early on in his career before he exercised the demons in 2007 and winning a championship. I mean, there were so many naysayers, some internally with the Giants organization, former players, Tiki Barber amongst them, and a lot externally. So if you're Ace Bailey and you want to get your career off to the best start, you want to be able to wow folks and fascinate fans over the first 3 years, leading to a huge rookie extension, the sentiment around you coming into the NBA has not been positive. And it's not moving you in the direction that you ultimately want to go in. Mm-hmm. So this is one of those scenarios. You can make some noise before the draft, but making noise after the draft doesn't serve your purpose.
No. And until we see him in the building, we're going to assume that this is intentional.
Yes.
And that this is a continuation of the thought process and the plan that he and his representation had prior to the draft. They know what they're doing. They know that he was the big story heading into the draft. They know that our show and everyone else in the sports ether is talking about his 3 preferred destinations and the fact that he didn't land in one. And when their other draft pick and Walter Clayton Jr. is there and he's not, and these reports are out there, how could we not all speculate that maybe he doesn't want to be there despite what he said and the immediacy of being drafted and despite what's coming out of Utah about the communication that they had after he was drafted? I don't know how they would think anything else other than we are going to speculate that he's going to sit out or try to force his way out of there by him not showing up when his other peer did.
So just to go through the top 5, he knew he wasn't going to Dallas, so he couldn't call them and say, I'm not interested. It would be basketball malpractice if you called Greg Popovich and said, I'm okay. I'm sorry, what? You wouldn't want... So we know it's not the Spurs.
Yeah. It's
one of the next 3. The next 3 would be Philadelphia, who traditionally has been historically pretty good in basketball, not recently. Charlotte, that's been a disaster, as we know.
Awful.
And Utah, who had a pretty good history, just not recently, but with a lot of names that you're aware of that run a team. I know I've been praising Danny Ainge. He's a good executive, whatever. I think he's a little overrated. I got to own that. I should have brought that up yesterday. But the reality is, it's one of those 3 teams. It's Philadelphia, it's Charlotte, or it's Utah. So what we're saying is there's a chance the phone call was made from his representation to the Utah Jazz. Like, it could be them.
It's weird. It's weird because all 3 of those teams present different scenarios, different situations for Ace Bailey, right? There is no theme, there is no through line as to why he disqualified him. There's no consistency with that.
I think that's the best point, by the way.
We've got reports out there that he didn't show up for the workout with the Philadelphia 76ers because the Sixers were non-committal in terms of guaranteeing that they're going to draft him with the 3rd overall pick. So I just think that's weird in and of itself. The Charlotte Hornets, okay, I get it. There's a player that they drafted with a higher pick that's a wing at your position, so maybe taking shots away from you early on in your career, not necessarily serving you in terms of getting to that huge rookie extension. The Utah Jazz just doesn't make any sense. It seems like there was a clear path to Ace Bailey being the face of the franchise for the Utah Jazz. All of the guys that they have there now that you could point to and say, hey, that's the person that's most identifiable with the franchise. We've been talking about trading those players, right? Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, those guys, we're talking about moving on from them. So it just doesn't make any sense. But now just looking at the situation, because of how noisy it has been and how noisy it will continue to be until he shows up in Utah, Ace Bailey is under more pressure than any pick that got taken in this year's draft. He's under more pressure going to Utah than Cooper Flagg is going to Dallas. Think about that for a second. We've been talking about Cooper Flagg for the last 3 years, the main event. And Ace Bailey, by how he's managed the pre-draft process and in the aftermath of getting taken by the Jazz, he's put himself under more pressure than Cooper Flagg, than Dylan Harper, than VJ Edgecombe, than Con Knipple. He's put himself under more pressure than all of those dudes. It is absolutely crazy to me to think that his representation thinks that this is serving him and getting him closer to where he wants to be, which is a huge extension after 3 years.
Yeah, you put yourself in a pretty precarious position by doing all of this leading up to you ever playing an NBA game. But does it make you think of Utah differently if they were the team? If Ace Bailey and his representation called them directly and said, don't pick us, I'm not coming there. We praised them yesterday saying, yeah, they didn't care. They drafted him anyway because they think he's the right fit, and they're going to essentially test his resolve in this way. But if it was one team that he said he's not going to, and it was them, and they called them and said that, knowing he didn't want to be there and they drafted anyway, does it change your mind at all?
Well, I need to see what happens. Like, okay, so let's, in this scenario, if they are the team and they're like, you know what, we don't care, we own the rights to the individual's basketball career, which they do, it becomes a bigger deal if he literally doesn't show up, right? Then it's then we're not praising them for just saying, hey, he's the best talent, and it's a disaster.
Well, it's a big difference between these are our 3 preferred destinations, and we don't want to go to any other team, rather than, hey, this one specific team, Utah, we called and said we don't want to go there.
And that's the only one.
And you picked us anyway. And I say us because his representation has a lot to do with this.
Yeah, and by the way, this could all be over. He could literally put out a statement on Instagram, and maybe I missed it, which I don't think I did in this case, on Twitter, whatever it is, and said, like, I'm thrilled to be with the Jazz. I'm getting on a plane on Monday morning, and I'll be there for the summer workouts, whatever. Like, stop with this. He hasn't done that. It's been 24 hours. He knows this is out there. He has not done that yet. He could have squashed this and has not. That even when the second round comes and goes, the biggest storyline still is Ace Bailey. Obviously, a lot more to get to on that, including an interesting theory from one of our teammates as to what the draft actually should be. Plus, Shams gave an update last night on Giannis, and it certainly adds a gray area to his future. We will get to that after Cece. Yes? Oh, you were pointing. I'm trying to get used to the new studio and where to look and everything. After CC has this from ESPN.
I'm just reminding you that I had something to say after you wrapped it up.
Okay.
And that something to say is about ESPN Bet. Hey, the play of the day came through last night. Washington Mystics, let's go. Sonia Citron, let's go. Whether you're looking for your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is the sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Just download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app, sign up with promo code USL, and get started today. Now, you got to be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This Sunday on ESPN Radio, it's a free agency frenzy. Join Tim Bontemps and me, Evan Cohen, as we get you ready for a wild free agency season in the NBA.
You're going to see some people move some places that could potentially trigger other deals that become fascinating.
NBA free agency frenzy Sunday, 5 to 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
When it's time to scale your business, it's time for Shopify. Get everything you need to grow the way you want. Like, all the way. Stack more sales with the best converting checkout on the planet. Track your cha-chings from every channel, right in one spot. And turn real-time reporting into big-time opportunities. Take your business to a whole new level. Switch to Shopify. Start your free trial today.
Running a business, I've learned that every missed call is a missed opportunity. Before OpenPhone, it was chaos. Missed messages, no follow-ups, no visibility. Now, our team calls and texts from a shared number, tracks every conversation, and AI handles calls after hours. Over 60,000 businesses use OpenPhone, and now I get why. Plans start at just $15 a month. Get 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/radio. openphone.com/radio. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers.
Tommy John keeps you cool all summer long. From underwear to polos, their breathable fabric stops sweat before it happens. When you wear Tommy John, you're comfortable and confident, so you can do everything better. Tommy John's premium innovations ensure the perfect fit with zero distractions, like their lightweight breathable fabrics that keep you 2 to 3 times cooler and dry 4 to 5 times faster than regular cotton. With over 30 million pairs sold and thousands of 5-star reviews, guys everywhere elevate their game with Tommy John. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics, like this fan who raves. I don't know what kind of magic voodoo science they put into the design, but somehow it breathes even on the hottest, sweatiest days. Invest in your comfort worry-free thanks to Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or its free guarantee. Get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/stream. Save 25% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/stream. See site for details.
Adam Schefter here for
Hello? That's where you do the glow motion?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Oh.
Okay.
No, I don't like what you did with my Lakers last segment. I don't like it.
Oh, wow.
If it was Smalls that was doing the read, then I would say Glow Motion, but it's not.
All right, so pretend Smalls did it.
No, we can't. The moment has passed. So are you two beefing now because
What
of this?
did I do wrong?
You threw it out there. They better sign Luka.
Yeah.
Ooh. Something to pay
The
attention
Lakers
to.
better sign Luka.
They better get it done.
Somebody hanging around.
Clock is
It
ticking.
could be the Miami Heat. You did that to me.
Slow motion for me. Slow motion for me. Moving slow motion for me.
Tune into baseball
Blow
action
motion
tomorrow
for me.
as the
Blow
Guardians
motion for
host
me.
Smalls'
Blow
Cardinals.
motion for me.
Presented by Progressive Insurance. Coverage begins 3:30 p.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN app. You're going to be on that broadcast? We're going to get you on like the pregame for these games.
Oh, I would love that.
Don't you? Maybe I shouldn't be saying this. I feel like you on the pregame for a Cardinals game on ESPN Radio makes some sense.
I mean, I am wearing a St. Louis shirt today.
I literally thought that was Illinois.
It says St. Louis pretty big and clear.
Well, when you are promoting St. Louis, I think Illinois because you're from there.
Oh, okay.
Although for whatever reason, I don't associate the colors of the T-shirt with the city of St. Louis.
It's a red and black.
It's red and black,
t-shirt.
yeah.
It just doesn't feel very...
Feels like NWO
What
Wolfpack.
color do you associate with the city of St. Louis?
The colors blue and gold. I know.
Blue and gold?
St. Louis
Oh, for
Blues.
the-
St. Louis Blues. St. Louis Blues.
I know where your mind first went.
St. Louis Blues.
The Rams? You thought?
Blue and gold.
Yeah.
Because if we're talking blues, we're saying blue and yellow.
Listen, man.
Not gold.
Nellyville, the Chevelle Super Sport.
Oh, yeah.
Country Grammar. Like, it just, I mean.
But he had the Cardinals fitted, the red Cardinals fitted.
No, I know he had all of the things, but I mean, those are the colors that you associate with the city of St. Louis because that was when you had that fusion of St. Louis sports with hip hop culture. It just came together and created a whole moment.
We peaked then.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard. You got the Super Bowl champions, the MVP. Like you had it all going for you right around that time.
We had Nelly coming out with Country Grammar. As you mentioned, the greatest show on turf. Also, that's when you had McGuire in the home run chase.
Yeah,
the Blues were
Big
great.
Mac Land.
Brett Hall. St. Louis, they had the stars of all three teams on the cover of the Sporting News, the greatest sports city in America. Plus, at the same time, we're putting rap on the St. Louis rap on the map. I mean, we peaked. It's never going to get any better.
Wow.
And if you're ever bored, go back and watch the Nelly Country Grammar music video.
It's great.
It's hilarious
great.
to watch in the year 2020. So it's a big block party in North County. And just go and look at the outfits. There's a guy grilling with a big iguana on his shoulder.
Love it.
Why?
Love it.
There's
It's
just
amazing.
so many characters in that music video. Trust me, it'll make you laugh.
All right. Random thought of the day from Michelle Smallman. Go back and watch Country Grammar to see a guy grilling with an iguana.
Do it.
Okay.
And he's standing right next to Arch Manning.
That's right. Who has been
Arch was in the
hanging
hood,
out
yeah.
in North County and St. Louis.
Arch? Oh, recently. I'm like, he wasn't even probably alive at that point.
I'm just joking.
I don't pick up on this stuff.
Well, he was just at a block party in St. Louis.
He
so-
was. He was hanging out.
Literally there.
He's a man of the people.
So last night, as part of the second round of the draft coverage, right before the Bucks picked, Shams Charania, ESPN senior NBA insider, gave this update on Giannis.
I'm told Giannis Antetokounmpo is closely observing the Bucks draft here tonight and then free agency next week. And what moves can this organization make to elevate the team? They've got a bunch of free agents here. Bobby Portis, Gary Trent Jr., Brooke Lopez, Kevin Porter Jr. Bucks general manager John Horst and his staff have been aggressive over the years, making creative moves time and time again. But this offseason, they've got one first-round pick, a few second-round picks to play with. And Giannis Antetokounmpo has been open-minded about his best fit moving forward. He spent 12 years there. There's a level of equity there that he has in Milwaukee. But he has said publicly he wants to compete for a second championship. And so what moves can the Bucks make here in the coming weeks?
So when this happened last night, the Bucks then picked 47th overall. They took a guy, Bogolub Markovic. I may be getting his name wrong. I apologize if I am. Who is 19 years old and has braces. Nothing wrong with braces. I'm just saying, I can't imagine if Giannis is keeping track of the draft. He's like, oh, now I'll stay. We got this guy who's in middle school in Serbia. I mean, it was unbelievable watching this last night because Shams had that report. They go to the pick, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're going to get one of these accomplished college guys that he knows, and maybe this guy's Giannis' cousin for all I know. But it's like the follow-up of the 19-year-old with braces who just got out of middle school is probably not exactly what Giannis is looking for. But this, to me, was an interesting report last night by Shams. He's monitoring what they're doing, and he's monitoring the next couple of weeks. What does he think they can do? And Brian Windhorst answered that question during the draft last night.
If you look at the Eastern Conference, you could make a case that if they are able to bring their core players back, re-sign Brook Lopez, retain Bobby Portis, retain Gary Trent Jr., and find a point guard that can fill in the gap until Dame Lillard hopefully comes back late in the season, you could make an argument that they could maybe get up into that top 6 and give themselves a chance as they look at other teams in the East struggle with injuries. That's the answer, right? So it seems like when you play this out, okay, so Giannis has his eye on the Bucks. Should they be worrying about losing Giannis? And then Shams has that report last night. He's going to keep an eye on it. What Wendy said makes the most sense. This is just, are you going to re-sign the guys that I know I can win with?
Mm-hmm. But
right?
my question to you would be, win what?
Let me rephrase.
Win a top 6 playoff spot?
Yeah.
Win the Eastern Conference?
I said it incorrectly. Are you going to re-sign the guys that I have won with? Because that's different
Past
than
tense?
Yeah, because that's his. If you're going to guess, do you think Giannis wants to see Bobby Portis walk out the door?
Probably not.
Do you think he wants to see Brook Lopez walk out the door?
No.
Right. Then that's where it gets to your point of, cool, they're going to satisfy Giannis as they should. Well, what's that going to get them?
Well, isn't this kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals Joe Burrow situation? If you're going to sign the 2 wide receivers, great. You made your quarterback happy. But how does that stop you from adding to your team and building in a different way for you to compete for a championship? With Giannis, as Shams has reported, and we've heard rumblings of, he's open to leaving Milwaukee in a way he's never been in the past because he wants to compete for a championship. And can you satisfy both things at once? Can you retain the guys that he obviously has affection for and has won with in the past and feels like maybe he can moving forward, while also satisfying the fact that you may need to move on from them in order to put other pieces around him to be able to compete and win a championship in the future? And that's where you have to get tricked, because while you're kind of recording your star because you want them to stay and you want to give them what they want, you also have to recognize that those two things that this star player wants may not be in concert with one another.
Yeah, I believe if Dame Lillard was healthy, he would have been traded this summer. Not reporting that. It's just my gut feeling. That if Dame Lillard was healthy, they would have probably said, this is our way of getting 2 to 3 players in the NBA world of depth as a way to sell Giannis on staying there long term. The problem that they may have moving forward is Giannis always going to be on a series of one-year deals even though he has a long-term deal? Like, remember LeBron with Cleveland was always on a series of one-year deals, whether it was a one-year deal or not. And the reason I say it that way is, hey, I'm going to put pressure on the organization to get me more, get me more, get me more. I don't believe that's how it works, because then you're not in partnership with the organization, because then the free agent that's debating where they want to go is not looking at Milwaukee, or in that case Cleveland, as a destination city like they would New York, Chicago. Well, not Chicago anymore with the Bulls, but New York or L.A., right?
Yep.
And that's where it becomes a tricky thing. It's like, we said about Ace Bailey. Hey, you got to tell us you're good to go with Utah. I think Giannis at some point, even though he's under contract, may have to do the, I'm here. Anyone wants to join me, I'm here, because no one's going to believe him, even though he's never said anything otherwise.
But I don't know if he has to give the Milwaukee Bucks that. It's not as if he hasn't given them runway to figure it out, and it just feels like they're so far removed from that championship that they got in 2020. And so I guess the question becomes whether or not this team retooled this offseason is going to be good enough not only to win the Eastern Conference, but to contend in the NBA Finals. Because if you look at what they're capable of doing from a resource standpoint, I have a hard time seeing them measure up to anybody coming out of the West. And the goal is to win a championship. And it feels like there are more attractive destinations out there. So for Giannis, there is an opportunity cost for loyalty to the Milwaukee Bucks. And it could mean him not contending at a championship level while he's still in the heart of his prime.
Yeah, I still think he ends up back in Milwaukee.
Sure.
But
if he ends up back in Milwaukee, what are his prospects for being able to win a championship? Not get to an NBA Finals, to actually win it.
Next year, not good. The year after, maybe better. I don't know that that's satisfactory for him, though. That's the problem. And by the way, one quick note, as we pointed out yesterday, go back on the podcast and listen. If you come up with your list of teams for Giannis, whoever's in your head of, I could see them getting Giannis, add Atlanta. Atlanta's now on. That's the thing. If there are more teams on that list, the offers could get better and better, potentially. Just potentially.
Let me just ask you a question. I know we got to go to a break, but if Giannis, let me put it to you this way. Milwaukee or Atlanta this year, who gives Giannis a better chance at winning a championship?
As we put together the hypothetical trade, it would be Atlanta. It would be.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it would be.
That's just another team that we would say Giannis has a better chance at competing for a championship in the short term with.
You won't glow motion with me. Will you with Smalls? We'll find out now.
Light up the night with Glow Motion.
Glow motion for me. Glow motion for me. Glow motion for me.
You heard Cece. It's the all-new flavor from 5 Hour Energy. It's a fruity burst in a bottle that glows under UV light. Glow Motion has as much caffeine as a premium cup of coffee and zero sugar. Just what you need to stay up celebrating your team winning a championship. And at only 2 ounces, it's perfect for runners, ravers, and anyone who refuses to stop. So whether you're dancing, gaming, or just flexing your vibe, Glow Motion shines, literally. 5 Hour Energy Glow Motion is available online. Head to 5hourenergy.com to order yours today.
What up and what's good? It's Randy Scott.
And it's Gary Streisky. And Randy, do me a quick favor. Never do that again.
I did instantly regret it. We are the duo that brings you SC Plus every weekday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, only on Disney Plus.
Highlights, top stories, and the best ESPN analysts, and of course, us.
Tasty morsels, just little bites of num-num.
SC Plus, all new and only on Disney Plus.
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you shine. Book direct at lq.com.